We are going to be talking about objection handling in 2024 and beyond. This webinar is going to go about 30 minutes or so, and then I'm going to open it up at the very end for Q&A. I'm going to have to stop share for a minute, though, because all I'm doing is mirroring my screen. Okay. All right. This is not working. Okay. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. I went from all excited about how great the tech was working to having an absolute technology breakdown. I can't even find my Zoom controller. So don't you love it when things go the way? It's kind of like a metaphor, right? For handling objections in a lot of ways. You know, you think you're all on point, you think everything's going great, and then all of a sudden they throw you this curveball, right? And then you're dealing with an objection that you did not plan for. So this is good. Okay, now I've got my screen. We're gonna make a little bit of an adjustment today. We will make this work. So don't you worry about it. All right, let me go back to this. All right, cool. So here's where I always start. You're helping enough people get what they want, and you can have whatever it is that you want in the end. Today, we're talking about handling objections in 2024 and beyond. Excuse me. And I'm excited to jump into this conversation with you. A little bit about me, 35 years outbound sales experience. It's not just sales experience, it's outbound sales experience. 17 years I spent in the real estate industry. Before that, I spent 12 years in publishing. In media, I started on the phones a long time ago, literally calling on Kirby vacuum cleaners. Excuse me. I spent the last 2.5 years of my life in coaching, consulting, training, which is what I do now. I love doing that. Obviously, technology is I love technology. I don't love when it doesn't work, but I do love it. But you keep moving forward, right? Cardone certified 10X trainer and coach. Which is why I deliver some of the curriculum that I deliver is from Grant Cardone's curriculum from his Cardone University. It's tremendous sales training. I was also part of the Success brand. Back in the day when I was at Keller Williams, I was one of their university trainers, one of the trainers that used to go around the country to different regions and teach the curriculum for the offices. I was what's called master faculty, meant I taught to all the different regions in that company, and I taught the listing process. Before that, I was with, years and years ago, I used to do a course called Effective Communication with Dale Carnegie. So I've been training, teaching, coaching a long time. I've officially been being paid to train for the last 12 years, and I just love doing it. I'm the author of 2 books, The Sales Playbook, as well as my second book is How to Earn Even More Money Working Fewer Hours in. Now it says real estate, but it doesn't matter what industry, what business you're in. You can, if you follow what's in this book, you can make a lot more money working a lot fewer hours if you figure out how to put leverage in your business. I have 3 beautiful daughters and an amazing wife who I love, 2 grandchildren, and just blessed, and a podcast called Path to Mastery, my friends, which I've been fortunate to have guests, Gary V, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone's been on twice. I've been on his show. And the same thing I'm teaching you today here when it comes to handling objections, when it comes to sales, the same strategies I use to get those guys on my podcast. Okay, so this slide right here at the end today, I'm going to be offering you a sales workshop. We're doing it on the 25th and 26th of this month. It's a phenomenal workshop. What I'm delivering today actually comes from this workshop. So just an FYI, I want to let you know about a special offer for the people that are on this call today at the very end of the webinar. So make sure you hang out, okay? And then we're going to do our Q&A. Okay, great. So this is, you guys know Grant. This is from one of his courses that we deliver called Mastering Objections. Give me 1 second. I just got to grab some water. All right. Now, let me switch this over. Second. Okay, this is from the Mastering Objections course. And Grant teaches us that you must become a master at handling these objections. And these are the areas where you're going to get objections, okay? You're going to have objections when it comes to prospecting, okay? That's what, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're selling, what you do, objections come up. You should know the objections that are going to come up. Building rapport. Sometimes people are going to say things like, "Wow, what's with all these questions?" Right? There's all kinds of things that happen. So they come up there. They come up when you're creating interest, when you're talking to people about your different products, your offerings, your tools. In people's own minds, they may be having objections, and they're not even voicing them to you. You just know that they're there. In your presentation demonstration, you're going to be dealing with objections. Okay, they're going to come up. In the proposal, you're going to deal with the objections. Okay, when you send a proposal to somebody or you go over the proposal, when you're determining wants and needs, we call this fact finding as well. In a workshop, we spend a whole 3 hours on fact finding. And can't close the sale, right? Closing sales, it's in the closing. And also, it's about growing our income. Okay, here's some of the objections that you're getting killed by. I'm sure you guys can see this list. Let me make it a little bit larger for you. Okay, just looking. Price is too high. I'm not buying. We're just shopping, right? You ever heard that? You know, someone goes into the store and they're like, "Hey, can I help you?" It's like, "No, I'm just looking." Then 5 minutes later, you're standing there by yourself, like, "Oh, hold on, I need some help from somebody," right? I'm not the decision maker. I'm not doing anything until I have a better price from. I don't have time. Just send me your proposal. I got a guy off the phone today with that. I said, "Hey, just send me an email." You could tell the guy's a rookie, right? Because I really wasn't super interested in I was a little bit interested in what he's selling me. So I said, "Hey, send me an email." And he obviously he's a rookie. He said, "Okay, well, what's the best email address?" Send it to him. And he let me off the hook. So great. I'll look at his email and we'll go from there. All right. Anyway, your terms are not good. I have bad credit. I have great credit. I have good credit. I can't do anything until the spring. I can't do anything until we go over our budget. I can't do anything until the fall. I can't do anything until Q3, whatever, right? Your product doesn't have X. We don't sign contracts. That's a beautiful one. We don't need all of that. If you can't do it right, please don't call me back. That's an objection. That's an objection. Take me off your list. Objection. Okay, can't afford this. Just send me some information. We're already over budget. Send me the testimonials, right? I have to think about it. There's one of your favorites, right? Gotta think about it. Gotta sleep on it. Ever had someone say, "I've got to pray on it"? We've got to pray on it. One of my favorites. I love it when someone says that. I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, so I love it. Okay, we never make a rash decision. There's another one. Those are all the objections you're getting. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of other ones that I don't even on the list. Okay, so now I'm going to give you your steps. Okay, to handling. So number one is I want you to commit first off. So in the chat, what I want you to do is in the chat, I want you to put the word commit. So I want everybody, if you're willing to commit in the chat, I want you to put commit. Commit. Good. I see Victor. Awesome. I see Britt. Good. I see Sam. Commit. Then the second one is I want you to take full responsibility. Full responsibility. Take full responsibility. It's my fault. Every objection I get is because of me, because of something I am putting out there. I want you to understand that. All right. I take full responsibility. I want you to define. We got to define what an objection is and what it's not. Okay. Sometimes you guys are thinking like I'm getting an objection, but you're really not getting an objection. Sometimes you're just getting a question. Sometimes you're just getting a complaint. Okay, we got to identify where the objections take place. We have to identify each objection at each part of the process. We talked about that earlier. Okay, we're going to prepare until we can predict. Like, you need to go into your sales process knowing the objections they're going to give you. You ready for this? Before they even give it to you. You need to know the objection they're going to give you before they even give it to you. Hey, I see Kirby's, I'm sorry, somebody was asking, what is a Kirby? Brett, a Kirby is, back in the day, is a $1,500 vacuum cleaner. That's where I started chopping it up at 17 years old on the phone, cold calling, telephone books, literally in the telephone book. Remember the yellow pages? I was actually calling the white pages, though, because the white pages were the homeowners and the yellow pages were the business. That's what I did when I went into publishing. All right. Master until you can handle each. Love this one. Master until. So I want you to be able to have 3 handlers for every objection you get. And then you're going to work on it every day, every single day. I want you to drop in the chat. How many days? I want you to drop every day. Oh, Brett knows what a Kirby is. Okay, good. Every day. Drop every day in the chat. I want you in there, I want you to commit to every single day. Not just one day, but I'm talking about every day. So now we're going to go through the 6 ways, the secrets, the 5 secrets. Okay, I'm going to give you a bonus. Number 1, you are the creator of every objection and must take full responsibility for the customer's objection. This is a Grantism, right? Like Grant says, you are responsible for the objections you're getting, right? Like if you're the type of person that always has to wait, always has to think about it, always has to say, well, I got to take some time, I got to think about it, then that's the objection you're going to get. I promise you, when you do the exercise, when you do the workshop, we do an exercise, and you're going to start to see that in yourself, right? So you actually create your own objections, okay? Number 2, the most dangerous objection we call the unspoken. Right? This is that objection that you don't really know exactly what kind of objection is. It sounds like, well, yeah, let me just get back to you. Yeah, just give me some time. And now what do you do here is you need to ask really good, deep questions. Now, I want to explain something to you. One of the reasons that the workshop, the Essentials workshop, is so important is because we teach people to have the proper greeting. And within the proper greeting structure framework, you build trust with somebody. So that when you build trust with somebody and you get to this point, they're going to be more open to having this dialogue with you and actually answering the question so that you can help them uncover and solve their own problems and their own objections. All right, the next one is the most obvious objections, or the most objections. I shouldn't say obvious because they're not all obvious, but most objections are complaints that should not be handled, but just used as a question to close. Okay, we're gonna talk to you about that. We're gonna get to that in a few minutes. Okay, use that as simple. Okay, good, great. Other than, that's what that sounds like. And number 4 is objections are never a reason not to close or stop working the deal. Now, when somebody gives you an objection, that's a good thing. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that before, but getting an objection is a good thing. You know why I say? Anybody tell me why in the chat? Tell me why getting an objection is a good thing in the chat. Let me see who can tell me why getting an objection is a good thing. I would love to hear from you guys. Come on in the chat. We got a bunch of people on here. Let's see. Take a shot. There's no wrong answer. No wrong answer here. No wrong answer. The reason getting an objection is a good thing is because that shows there's interest. That shows there's interest. You think about it. It means they're sitting here with you. They're actually listening to you. So there is interest. They may not be sold on you right now on what you're presenting and what you're doing and your product and all that, but there's definitely interest. right? So it's a good thing. If there's no interest, they wouldn't be in front of you right now. They'd be gone. So you should be getting objections. You should embrace objections. The opposite is somebody says, no, I'm not interested. I'm all set. Take me off your list, right? You don't want to hear that. Okay, the next number 5 is there's only one objection, never more than one. What do we mean by this? What we're saying is there's really only one core objection. And you need to learn how to use a process, which I'm going to share with you in a minute, so that you can narrow it down to determine what the real objection is. Because what happens is sometimes a lot of salespeople, we will have 2 or 3 objections in front of us, and we cannot handle those objections until we figure out what the real one core objection is. And we have a process called, which we're going to get to in a minute, which is called isolating. All right, isolating. Let me fix this. All right, I made that larger. I'm going to make that a little smaller for you guys now. Okay, now, here's what your objections are going to be about. Price, terms. The price is just ridiculous. You know, oh my God, we'll never sign a contract that long. That's absurd. Got it. So other than the length of our contract, Victor, is there any other reason we're not moving forward today? Man, right? Contract, product. Now, product is, that's a real objection, because when people have product objections, okay, that means there's something about your product that is not connecting with them right. It's not resonating. They're not really seeing it. They're not seeing the value. Okay, timing. Timing is real as well. Sometimes that's why follow-up is so important. And that's why we have a process for follow-up that we teach 5 to 12 times, right? Some of you guys have been on my past webinars. I teach follow-up 5 to 12 times. Okay, the company. They may not be sold into your company yet. They may not even like you. They may not know you yet, right? They may not trust you. Maybe there's competition. Sometimes the buyer themselves has uncertainty. I don't know about you. I'd sell a lot of training, coaching, consulting. I deal with clients that aren't even certain in themselves, that aren't even 100% certain themselves that they're going to show up. Like they're like, well, I tried this thing before and I did it for 3 weeks and then I didn't even show up after that. It's not even my product. It's not even me. It's on themselves. We need to know that. Third-party data, confusion, and then finally lack of information. So you're gonna have objections about all that. Lack of information. They just don't have enough information now. All right. One of our best closes is, have you heard enough information to make a decision? All right. Now, steps to determine valid versus invalid objection. Number 1, listen. Number 2 is going to be acknowledge. This process right now, I'll tell you what, this process is a game changer. In the workshop that I'm going to talk to you about at the end, we spend literally 4 hours working through this, and everybody builds out their own special script, from your introduction to the questions you're going to ask in fact finding to the things you're going to present in your demo. So you take one specific customer and you literally build out from start to finish, from your first conversation with that person, your first engagement, all the way through until closing them and they become clients of yours. So first step is listen. We have to listen. Okay, we then acknowledge. We acknowledging is, okay, here's what you said, and you're getting corrected from them. Is that accurate? Great. Now we isolate. So other than the objection you gave me, is there anything else? Then we validate. Now we have to determine what type of objection it is. We're going to get to that in a minute. All right. Then we have to tie it down, and then we have to close. Okay, close. Now, number 1, listen. Here's your listening process. Let me write this down. Always have a pen and paper handy. And I tell people, I don't just write it down, but I let people know I'm going to write this down. Let me write this down. I tell people that as I'm going through the presentation with them. All right. I got it. What else? Tell me more. Thanks for sharing. Tell me everything. Like, I want to know everything. Tell me it all. Tell me it all. All right. Step number 2 is acknowledge. I'm with you. I get it. Our price is ridiculous. I know. Why are we acknowledging, by the way? Why are we telling people they're right? Our goal is to put people at ease. That's why. Okay. Nothing good happens when you make somebody else wrong and they cross their arms and put up a wall between you and them. Nothing good ever happens. So we want to be on the same page with people. And that's how you do that, by acknowledging and being in agreement with them. I can see that. I'm in total agreement. I feel the exact same way. I get it. I get it. I'm with you. All right. The third step is to isolate. Learn to isolate. What are your other concerns? What else bothers you? Do you have any other reason for not moving forward right now? Do you have other concerns? If I could solve that one thing, would there be anything else? I mean, this is beautiful, my friends. What you're getting is a confirmation right now, right? A lot of times people go right from isolate to close. Okay, I used to do that. I'd go right from isolate to close. So, okay, other than the fact that you think my price is too high, anything else in the way? No? Okay, bang, just go right to close. Now, that's a mistake I learned, because what we need to do now is we need to validate that. Because somebody may say that, but then there's really something else there. So just say, okay, got it. Let me just ask you this. What's the real concern? Right? Because if somebody says, well, your price is too high, you still don't know what their real concern is. All you know is that they just said your price is too high. But do you know what the real concern is? Like the real concern? Well, you know what? If I buy this product, I'm not going to have enough money to take my kids to karate, whatever, right? To on vacation to Disney this year. And that's my real concern. So we got to figure out what the real concerns are. You know, come on, there's got to be something else. You literally want them to say, no, there's nothing else. Okay, beautiful. Now you move to the next step. All right. Once you know there's nothing else, then you can move to closing. And we call this the magic question. You know, it's just closing. Awesome. So the fact that you think my price is too high, that wouldn't stop you from moving forward, would it? With a smile. And sometimes you're going to see people say no, but if they say, well, yeah, it would. Okay, good. So now you can start doing some negotiations if you have to. Okay, so for me, I don't discount my price, but what I would do is I would figure out a different product to get them into. Does that make so? For instance, if I'm talking to them about a product that's $5,000 a month, and there's just no way they can do that, then okay, great. So instead of doing this $5,000 a month product that includes, a workshop plus, 4 one-on-one calls plus, plus the group call, we have another product that, gives you the workshop and then 2 calls a month, and that product's $3,000 a month. Would that be a better fit for your budget? Oh, okay, great. What did I do now is I just get them into the right product. Number 5, determine the type of objection. Okay, we have to also still determine, is it a time objection, a money objection? All right. And you can do this by just saying, hey, why do you say that? When you say that, can you explain more? Like, you're just going deeper. This is about digging deeper. So yeah, you all thought I was ready to go, right here. But they may still give me another objection. If right here they say, okay, let's move forward, then I'm done. I'm signing the paperwork. Okay, good. Sign here. I'm not going to start asking more questions. If they tell me I'm good right here, let's go. But if they don't, then I'm going to go deeper. You understand what I'm saying? Why do you say that? Can you explain? Okay. Now, these are your different types of objections: product, time, terms, stalls, price. You have to determine what type of an objection you're dealing with. First, you need to know the types because each one is handled differently. They're not all handled the same. If we handle them all the same, we're not going to get the result we're looking for. All right. The golden rule of objection is to treat all objections as complaints until isolated and validated. Drop into chat. Treat all objections like complaints. I want you to drop the word complaints because that's what most objections are. Now, I remember I was sitting at the table with this person, and at the end, I said, "Okay, you ready to move forward?" And they said, "Yeah, it just seems like your commission is too high. Seems like your commission is a little bit too high." And I said, "Yeah, okay, yeah, got it." I said, "Well, the reason that our commission's the way it is because of this, and this. So does that work for you?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, that's fine." He goes, one of my friends just told me to ask anyway. He goes, "No problem," and he signed. He wasn't even giving me an objection. He was just asking a question, right? So sometimes we get somebody asking us a question or complaining, and then we start treating it like it's an objection. So we have to pay attention to that. All right. So until validated or isolated. So the rule of responsibility, you want to look at objections you continue to get. And I assure there's some agreement with you. This is happening because of you. This is what Grant says. Okay. Grant says, if you trust me long enough to look for how this might be true, then you'll see why it is true. What he's saying is you are getting the same objections that you give. Like if you show up and you always need to think about it, that's what you get. And here's the problem with that. If you show up and you're like, well, the price is too high, that's what you get. Right? If you're the type of person that says, I never do anything on the first call. I never make rash decisions. That's the same objection you're going to get back. And here's the challenge with that. When you get it, you won't be able to handle it. Not because you don't want to handle it. Don't get me wrong. So the reason you won't be able to handle it is because deep down, your mind, your brain is going to be saying, I agree with him. I get it. Like, I don't really like the fact that he's got to wait and think about it, but I do the same thing. Like, that's what's getting in the way, and we don't even realize that. Like, we are actually creating our own objections. Now, let's do a quick exercise. I want you to write down one objection. Everybody, I want you to take, 30 seconds, not a ton of time. Take 30 seconds, write down an objection that you get, and I want a couple of you to drop the objection in the chat. Write down a common objection. So let's take a look at the chat. Give me one of the objections that you get more than others. So price is too high. Got it. Okay, great. Price is too high. I love it. Thank you, Victor. Appreciate that. All right. So now, what agreement, if any, Victor, can you come up with in the chat? Like, just take some time. Is there any agreement with that objection for you? Like when somebody says price is too high, what happens in your mind? Are you, and again, Victor, I don't know your specific situation, but Grant says we always will find some agreement with that. Yeah, I get it. Because I'll tell you what, when I'm talking to these salespeople, they're asking a lot of money. Man, those freaking guys at Cardone, they charge a lot of money for this stuff. Like in our own mind, we don't even realize we're doing it. So make sure you save this. This is a great homework assignment for you. All right, this is for you. In the workshop, my friends, we actually spend a lot of time on this. We come up with our 3 most difficult objections we deal with, and we come up with handlers to solve them all, and then we practice them in the workshop. This workshop is a full day, and then the next day is 2 hours. And then day 1, we build our tool, our word track. We build our objection handler word track, and day 2 is all we do is practice with other committed people for 2 hours. All right. So here's your exercise. This is for your homework, though. Okay. So these are the which of these do you get, or when do you do when you're buying? I need to think about it. I have to shop. I never buy it to first price. I need to check with my wife. That's a great excuse. I always use that. Always use that. And the rookie salespeople, it gets rid of them right away. I can tell the level of salespeople based on the way I give them objections and how they deal with it. Like the professionals, they're gonna be like, okay, can we get your wife? Is your wife available right now? Can we get her into this call? So other than the fact that you need to talk to your wife, are you ready to go? So you're ready to go. We just got to get your wife on board. Great. Can we get your wife on this call? What's her phone number? Like this is what professionals do. All right. I never make a rash decision. It's not in the budget. I need the best deal. What else can you give me? We never pay retail. Need to wait until, right? Whatever. Same stuff. Assignment. So here's what you're going to do. Over the next week, I want you to write down every objection you get. And then I want you to pay attention to them and see how many of them you use in your own life. And then you're going to separate the internal from the external. Like what is internal, like going on, and what's real? Because there are real things that happen. And that's why follow-up is so important. That's why 70 to 80% of our business comes from follow-up. So don't get me wrong. We do still follow up. But I'm saying there's so many things we could handle in the moment where we don't even have to follow up. And then we got to locate where in the sales process these objections are handled and where they happen. So if you're honest with this exercise, you'll be amazed how you are being stopped by negative ideas that you actually agree with. So here's what Grant says, is you create your own objections. Everybody on this call right now, even myself, the difference is I'm aware of it. Even myself, I'm aware of it. We create our own objections, my friends. Here's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna get you to Q&A in a minute. We're gonna get you to Q&A. I just want to let you know about, we have this. This is coming up. This workshop is happening on the 25th, and then there's a special 2-hour session on the 26th from 9 to 11 Eastern time. All right, we're going to spend one day together. We're going to build out your whole structure of your call, your initial greeting, whether it's a call, it doesn't matter, whether you're meeting somebody at the Chamber of Commerce, it makes no difference. Your initial greeting, the 3 fact-finding questions you're going to use on this particular prospect, okay? Your demo, the thing you're going to demo specifically to this prospect, okay? Your close, the question you're going to ask to close, and then you're going to have 3 objection handlers, okay? And then follow-up. What you're going to do for follow-up in the case that you still can't close right there. This is what we're building out, and then you're going to get tons and tons of opportunity to practice it, and then you're also going to get the recording. And what we did is we created for everybody on this call today, all right, the VIP access for this is $14.97. What we did was we created on this call for everybody, the VIP access includes the recording plus the 2-hour session the next day. We're giving everything to you. So instead of $9.97, instead of $14.97, it's $9.97 today. This workshop's happening next week. This workshop will be a game changer for your business. I hear so many people say, David, you know what? I loved everything you said. You know, what can you do to help me? Now, I do coach. I do train. I do take on some clients. I always have 4 clients. Right now, I have 1 opening. I just have 1. So if anybody's interested in that, we can certainly talk about that as well. But this is a great next step for salespeople that are looking to take their sales process to the next level. And this is happening next week on the 25th. All right. I want you guys to, well, before I go there, I just want to share a quick story with you, all right? And then I want to get you into some Q&A. How's that sound? want to get you guys into some Q&A. So when I got, a few years back, I was at an event. I got my, I signed this group of CEOs, and we all had to pick a track. And we were together for 3 days in Burlington, Vermont. And the instructor said there were one of three. You had to take one of these tracks: either yoga, high intensity interval training, or an Ironman race. Now, to me at the time, I didn't, I hardly knew how to swim. I didn't have a bike. An Ironman race sounded just ridiculous. Didn't even make sense. So I did what was the easiest thing is I picked the high intensity interval training. And then by the third day, though, the guy kept pushing us, and he kept saying, if you took yoga, go up one. If you took high intensity interval training, go up one. So on the third day, I agreed to do the Ironman race along with about 6 other people at the event. And I'll tell you what, I thought it was a really good idea until the first day I got to the Ellington YMCA pool, and I swam one single lap, my friends, one. That's it, one 25-meter lap across that pool. And I panicked. I was breathing heavier than I've ever breathed in my life. I drank nasty chlorine pool water. I could not believe it. And I did the math in my head, and I said, I just did one lap. One lap. In order to complete this race, I'd have to do 84. My mind said it's impossible. Impossible. I panicked. I called my wife, and she was like, David, you can do anything you want. And I was, okay, this ain't going to work. I called Adam, the guy that did the event, and Adam said, stop being a B word and hire a swim coach. And I said, what's a swim coach? He hung up on me. Didn't even know they had swim coaches. I went to the front counter at the YMCA. They sent me over Joel. The next day, Joel met me at the pool. He watched me swim a couple laps. He gave me some instruction, right? And he said, okay, I want you to meet me here Thursday morning. He goes, I want you to practice tomorrow, and then I want you to practice the next day, and I want you to meet me on Thursday morning, and I'll give you your second lesson. I said, okay. I almost said no because I didn't want to pay for a coach, right? Which wasn't a lot of money. It was literally like $45. It wasn't a lot of money, by the way. But met him Thursday morning. He made me jump in the pool. He said, okay, did you practice yesterday? I said, yeah. Did you practice the day before? I said, yeah. He said, good. He goes, I want you to swim down to one end and swim back without stopping. And I was like, okay. I had not done that yet, but I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I swam down the other end. I was breathing heavy. Get to the end of the pool, grab the pool for a second, and then swam my way back and dragged my way back. And I was all excited. I was just about to grab the side of the pool. He says, I want you to go back. And I says, no, I can't go back. He said, I want you to go back to the other end. And I was like, I don't know. He said, go back. And I was like, okay. So I turned around. I started pulling myself back to the other end of the pool. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm going to make it. So I'm just about to get to the other end of the pool again. Now I'm really breathing heavy, right? Now I'm just going on my third lap. I drinking pool water. I got chlorine in my mouth. It was bad. I was like, and I was about to grab the end. And he says, now I want you to go back to the other end. I said, Joe, I can't. He said, go back. And he yelled right in my face. Like literally I could feel his breath. And I was like, oh. And I just turned around. I started dragging myself back to the other end of the pool. My friends, I dragged myself. And at one point, I swear, I thought I was going to drown. I'm thinking I may literally drown in this pool right now. And then I realized I wasn't even in the deep end of the pool anymore. And then I got confident. I made it all the way back. Now, the reason I share this story is the significance of the story is the fact that 3 days earlier, I did one single lap and I was going to quit. One, that's it. One lap, I was going to quit. Now I just did 4 laps back and forth without stopping. Yeah, it was ugly. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, I drank water. It was disgusting, but I made it. And you know why I made it? Because there was someone there that was willing to push me. Someone there that was willing to encourage me and challenge me. Now, you need someone, okay? Everybody listening to me right now, you need someone that's going to do that for you. But here is my other takeaway. This was powerful too. I'm willing to bet I could have dragged myself there and back 4 times that first time in the pool, but I was scared to do it. And I was not willing to push myself. But with him there, I was able to complete it. And here's the good thing, my friends, is that wasn't just about a breakthrough in the pool. That breakthrough is why I was able to complete that race. Okay, that breakthrough is why I was able to cross that finish line. And not only that, but we raised $10,000 for children's cancer because of that. We raised $10,000. That's me crossing the finish line. One of those is at Lake Placid. That was the first race I was training for. Then the second race was in Long Island, New York. Why? Because somebody, Joel, was willing to push me to do things that I thought were impossible. So the question is, who's pushing you? Who's willing to push you? You know, so for me, after this race, it was a game changer because not only did I become better at swimming and better and I have a bike and I've done multiple, but I became better at time management, became more efficient, became a better leader. It showed up in so many areas of my life. And that's the same thing that's going to happen for you guys. You know, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open it up, see if we have any questions. Anybody have any questions? If you do, just raise your hands and we'll get you in. See if we have any questions. Sam, let's see if we get any hand raises. I don't see any hand raises, but all right. Well, I'll tell you what, one of the questions, actually, do we have some? Or if you don't want to come up, just drop in the chat. No problem. Drop your question in the chat. That's fine too. If you don't want to come up, love to hear some of your questions. Yeah, one of the questions I typically get about the event is, you know, are there going to be breaks? Is it a full day? Because I know sometimes people get it, well, I can't do a full day. So yeah, during the event, we have 2 breaks, 2 15-minute breaks, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and there's an hour lunch. So it gives you definitely time to follow up and do other stuff. But I'll tell you, when you're in this event, you are in it and you're going to absolutely love it. And you're going to leave a different person. I promise you, you leave a different person. Like I always say, there's before the Sales Essentials Workshop and then there's after the Sales Essentials Workshop. So here's what I'll leave you with this. All right, I'll leave you with this. So I just encourage you now to picture a day when you can confidently be in a closing with somebody and handle any objection that they give you with confidence, right? I want you to picture a day when somebody else, another salesperson in your company, comes up to you and it's like, wow, holy cow, how did you close that guy? Like every other person has been able to, has struggled. Like all of a sudden you show up, you're able to close that guy. Like, wow, how'd you do it? Or I want you to think of a day, picture a day when you're with your family, you're on vacation, you're traveling. Why? Because you have the wealth you need, you have the money, everything is working because you're closing more sales. Well, that day can be right away. That day can be a week and a half from now after attending this workshop. So my assistant, Sam, is going to drop a link right here in the chat and for people, and you can take advantage of this workshop. You can take advantage of this offer that we created today. Special offer for you. And that said, I just want to say thank you. Let me put this back up. I want to thank you guys for being here today. All right, that's the information. By the way, there is a 4-pay option. If somebody's like, you know what, I want to take the workshop, but even the $997 is not easy right now. There's a 4-pay option through PayPal. You know, you can pay it over 4 months. It's a great opportunity to actually use the sales workshop to go out there to get more sales to pay for the workshop. How cool is that? Using the sales workshop to actually pay for the workshop. So that's an option as well. So that said, I just want to thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go back to the slide that I always start with, which is this slide from Zig Ziglar. He says, when you're helping other people get what they want, you will end up with whatever it is that you want. And I think that's it. The most important thing is serving people. So if I can help you at all, reach out to me. I just say thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every one of you investing time with us today. And that said, if you weren't on and you're watching this replay, you'll have the same opportunity to take advantage of the special offer I created. And if I can do anything for you, reach out to me. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the workshop. And go handle those objections and make sure you do your homework assignment.